Hello and welcome to our second Reely's Rewinds. This is one of my favorite movies, 2001: A Space Odyssey from 1968, directed by Stanley Kubrick. We watched this at Nico's apartment. I don't know when we'll be releasing this, so
we're saving this for a future date.
Yeah, this will be a future date, but we're watching this. We watched it starting at like 11:45.
Monday, April 25th.
April 25th, yeah. And now it is now, it's almost 2:30, and we're recording a podcast.
We always record late, though, so...
We're on the grind. We're on the grind.
Anyways, let's get into your Twitter drama recently. What did you tweet about feet fetish?
I don't know. But the Jack didn't like it.
Who is Jack?
Jack is the Twitter guy, the CEO, or was the CEO. I don't know. We got suspended from Twitter.
Why did you say such horrible things about?
I don't know. They don't
a certain demographic.
You're gonna get me canceled.
Yeah, that's a good thing. You should have been canceled.
Probably.
Why am I doing a show
Probably.
with you?
If I spoke my mind on Twitter, I probably would get canceled.
Oh no, he's just kidding. He's just kidding. For legal purposes, this is just a joke.
Elon takeover is happening.
No, shut up.
That's the news today. Elon takeover is happening.
Shut up.
Elon actually he's very afraid of artificial intelligence. I think he and Kubrick had something in common.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pansies.
Yeah. Pansies. Also, I moved out of my college dorm for good today, so that's news. That's kind of why we got started so late. We probably would have started earlier in the night if I hadn't.
That's fine.
Had to do that, but we did that. The Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial is going on. We on this podcast, we are Team Amber.
We are not.
We are.
Take that back. We are Team Johnny Depp.
Yeah, justice for Amber.
Which, can we mention? Why did she feel it was necessary to defecate in his bed?
Yeah, she was mad at him.
I would never poop in anyone's bed.
I don't know.
Not even my worst enemy would I do that.
When we were in that hotel room together, I found it kind of odd that there was just a smooth turd.
Whoa. That wasn't mine. That wasn't mine. That was yours. That was yours.
The trial's going on. We're obviously in support of Depp. He seems to be kind of killing it, though, in the trial right now from the memes I'm seeing.
From the memes, but it's like, I would hope that he would be killing it, considering Amber Heard's lawyer asked a question and then objected to his own question. I mean, it's like, come on, buddy. What are you getting paid? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I think, now, he's in an impossible situation. I don't know what she offered him, but I think even I could put up a better defense here.
Yeah, he's not doing a great job. Johnny Depp seems to be, he'll hopefully be getting the justice.
But it's like, again, it's an impossible situation when Mr. Depp has video evidence of her saying, I did hit you. And then she was just like, yeah, take this to court and see if they believe you that a woman assaulted you. And then it's like, well, okay.
Generally, most of the internet is siding with Johnny Depp here.
Johnny Depp,
It was clearly a toxic relationship, and he did not. He was not a healthy man.
No.
We'll just put it that way. But I do feel bad for the guy. He lost his Pirates of the Caribbean movie or movies to come up, and lost a lot of money. And
I was talking to my girlfriend about this. When did this originally come up that he got dropped? It was a couple years ago, right? A few years ago?
It was before, I think, the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie that they were
I don't remember.
gonna shoot.
Was that Dead Man Tells No Tale or whatever?
I don't know. I didn't see the most recent one, but I've growing up, I was a huge fan of Captain Jack Sparrow and all that.
Yeah,
those are great movies. Yeah, we could do some really rewinds on those.
We could do some of those.
But
we'll do that in celebration if he wins.
That's a good idea. But yeah, the court of public opinion on this one is basically in his favor, and we are also rooting for Johnny Depp in this trial.
We wish him nothing but the best.
Yes. He seems to be doing a lot better now too. I think he's sober, right? Or
I hope so.
Yeah,
If he's
seems
not,
to be.
it's like, he doesn't deserve to be beat up either way. So
No, and he doesn't deserve to. I think there is a good case for defamation here. Anyways, this is not a law podcast.
we should just.
This is also not a
Did you know
celebrity drama
OJ
podcast.
actually did commit 2 murders?
Okay, now this is becoming a celebrity drama podcast.
Whether he got off with it, well,
murder,
I choose to to that he did commit murder.
the Norm Macdonald joke after it happened, after he won the trial, was murder is now legal in the state of California.
Yeah, did you not know about that?
That's yes, it is. But anyways, you want to get into this movie, into the thing we're actually here to talk about right now?
We can get into it.
Full disclosure going in, I am a huge fan of this movie. I first saw it, I think, probably 4 or 5 years ago, and then I've seen it 4 or 5 times since then. I've tried to show it to as many people as I possibly can because I love this movie. I love Stanley Kubrick, which is, I think most people that love film love Stanley Kubrick.
Relax, he's not gonna kiss you.
He's dead.
Yeah.
So that's a way to get canceled. Go to kiss Stanley Kubrick.
Necrophilia. Yeah.
Anyways, Nico has not seen this movie. He's never seen anything from Kubrick. So I think you just tell me what your experience was first time watching the movie.
This movie was a trip. My anxiety was at an all-time high, and it's not because this movie is super frightening or anything.
I think it is though.
Yeah. I don't want to say too much before we get into any explanation of the film or any spoilers or anything.
Yeah.
But,
it was the long takes that got to you, right?
Yeah, I thought it was a very slow start.
It is, yeah.
It was a good film. Not a personal favorite, but we'll talk more about that. But I mean, yeah, there were these long extended takes or extended shots. They lingered for a few seconds, and I think a few seconds too long in my opinion, but I understand what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
It seemed to be working on me at least because I was starting to become anxious, but
it is unsettling. I think that is generally the point of this. Is for it to be unsettling. And Kubrick movies do have these long takes. He's sort of known for it. This is his style. Mm-hmm. So, but yes, for someone who hasn't seen anything, I honestly think, and we'll probably end up watching more Kubrick movies for the podcast.
Yeah.
This probably is his most slowly paced film and contains the most just long drawn out takes on seemingly mundane shots.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, were you bored? Because I know that is my mom. I talked to my mom about it the first time I saw it, and she's like, "Oh, that movie's so boring."
The first maybe hour and a half, I was super bored of this film. I cannot lie to you. That's why I was asking you so many questions. I was like, yeah. Okay, I know the few plot points that have picked up and happened. There were maybe 4 or 5 by the time that it really started to kick in. I was like, okay, Nick, what am I missing?
Yeah.
And you were like, there's nothing, just keep watching. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted you to experience the events as they happened, because when there are events in this movie, I think they do hit pretty hard. And I think that is partly because of the suspense that's created throughout the first hour plus of this movie.
Okay. There was one film I kept referring to, and I don't know if when I mentioned it, if you were like, "Oh, he might be onto something" or not. But
well, yeah, you were.
We can mention that later. I don't want to say anything either.
We can mention the fact that this movie is
probably the inspiration.
Inspiration for a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff going forward,
Morbius.
For Morbius, yep.
Did you know they sold 1 more billion tickets?
Okay. This meme needs to die at some point.
Why? It's so funny.
The Morbius sweep.
Dude, I'm telling you, they're gonna win all of the Oscars.
This movie though, 2001, I think for me, it's just an experience of it makes, you aren't gonna have all your questions answered, and it is just a visual masterpiece. Like I don't think that there's a more well done space movie than this. And when we went into Top Gun, I mean I was, and I think you were too. To an extent, we're like giving here's a benefit of the doubt because this movie is, Top Gun's whatever, 40 years old. This movie's like 50 plus, 55 years old.
Yeah, for the time, I was like, Nick, what am I expecting for this 1968 film? And I was pleasantly surprised. I think a lot of those shots held up.
I think Gravity's another movie, space movie that like probably is on the same level as this one, but I don't think there's a space epic film that's better than this.
What about like Interstellar?
Interstellar, to me, I don't think it is. Like, okay. I think it's different. I think Interstellar is a different type of thing.
Okay. What about?
And it looks good, but like,
yeah.
What else? you got anything else?
What about WALL-E?
WALL-E's fantastic, but right. WALL-E draws a lot from this.
Yeah, it does draw a lot from this.
But this, like, for a live action space epic, like, this is I don't think there's anything better than this, and that's why like visually anything better than this.
Yeah,
this movie is
that was the visual spectacle of this film was what really drew me in when I was watching this.
It's just fantastic.
Yeah, Corridor Digital. This one, YouTube movie video FX. Special effects house. They make a bunch of stuff, but they break down a bunch of shots from this movie. I was trying to think about how some of these shots were filmed. We mentioned how there was a spinning corridor, and we were like, oh shit, that may have just been filmed practically like in Inception.
Yeah,
they just spun a whole hallway.
There's a lot of stuff in this movie.
There's a lot of things
very impressive for 1968.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things I still couldn't even figure out when I was watching it. I thought it was really cool. It was impressive for the time being.
Yeah, but that's why I want to like say this. I don't know, emphasize how impressive that is for me, because it's like this was done in 1968.
Yeah,
and it still holds up today better than a lot of movies.
You look at any of those the original Star Wars trilogy. Look, those are good movies. Those are fun movies, but the CGI, it sucks. Ass.
And it came out a few years after.
Several years after, yeah. I think mid 70s, right? Was the first one.
I want to say, I can check you on that, but like, I mean, as we were saying, like this is a visual masterpiece. I think Kubrick. That's why I think he does long takes, because he knows that what he has on screen is so visually stunning that like you don't want to take your eyes away from it. And for me, that's like basically the entire movie here. Like some of his futuristic stuff, even like. The initial scene in like the space airport, like that stuff's cool. Like the tech is cool. Like he's got video chatting. The guy video chatting with his daughter.
The OG FaceTime.
Yeah, it's like in 1968. I mean, like just looking at this within a context of like modern day context versus Top Gun, which is our only point of comparison for a rewind at this point. Like this holds up better than that.
We can watch some of the Star Wars ones too, so you can really get some space.
Mm-hmm.
Space films of that time, even Star Trek if we wanted to.
But, yeah. Star Wars was 77.
77.
Right.
Okay.
But anyways, I think we should get into spoilers soon, because for me, it's like knowing nothing going into this makes it even more of an experience, a completely unique experience.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's the one thing, before we just give our scores and go into spoilers, this is something completely unique. Sorry for that. Something completely unique, and like something that I don't think could get made today. Like Kubrick had a vision. Kubrick had a vision for this, and I don't think. Well, maybe it could get made. I don't. That sounds really pessimistic.
Be made today. I think it could.
But yeah, not a lot would do as well as at the box office as it did when it. Would it be as popular? Would it be a big pop culture thing like it is? Like, okay, but I don't know.
Do you think if you dropped this movie now, right? Like you released it now instead of 1968. Do you think it would have done as well as it did?
I don't. Like that's the thing. I think the audiences now are too caught up in the Marvel spectacle and
you think just all
some
of
of
the
our viewers aren't gonna like me
effects-
saying that, but
You think all of the effects and everything that's happening on screen is just too far advanced at this point compared to that?
no, I don't think it's. I think because that's the thing. I think visually it holds up today. I just don't think that people would. I don't think that the audience is used to a movie like this coming out, because I think a lot of the movies that get greenlit now
That's fair.
are
I wasn't sure what to think when I was watching.
yeah, they're all like most of the big movies nowadays, big budget movies are pre-existing intellectual properties. It's comic book characters. It's based on other movies, based on other books. You know, like directors aren't given the freedom to just work with a huge budget to do something crazy like this. And so like that's why I think this is such a unique film. And there are other films like this, I think, from previous eras that like are so unique, are works of art that will not be created. That's my big speech on that.
Trip to the moon, right? First film ever, wasn't it?
Oh, that's
Is
one
it?
of I don't think
It was one of them. I don't know.
This is one of the one. No, it wasn't. Not technically the first film ever. But
It was. What was it?
the
though?
first
It was
film ever.
First
was,
of something.
It was first narrative piece, maybe.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, or one of the first narrative.
Whatever it
pieces.
was. I just know there was a winking moon face.
Yeah. They shoot the rocket into the eye.
And
of the
the
moon.
eyeball. Mhm.
Anyways, sort of getting off track. I love this movie. Nico saw this more as a casual viewer who hasn't seen a lot of older stuff, and so we're gonna have very different scores.
Yeah.
But like, I'll let you go first.
You want me to go?
I'll let you go first. I'm actually, you know, no, yeah, you go first. You go first.
I'm gonna shit on this movie.
Shit on
I'm not gonna shit on it. It's a good movie. It's not something I'm used to. I personally wouldn't go out of my way. No, you recommended this. I don't think I would have gone out of my way to watch this.
Mm-hmm.
It was good though. I really liked the cinematography of this film. The score, the music was good.
Oh yeah,
the rest
fantastic.
of the soundtrack, I didn't like it with the high suspense and all that shit.
Yeah, so you mean just like the ambient noise?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where they're just going.
Yeah, to create suspense. I like that.
Whenever
kinda
they
shit,
saw
but
the iPhones standing vertically, I
Yeah.
didn't like that. But if I had to rate this movie, like quality wise, I know it's a very quality film.
You have to do. I mean, rate it on what? What are you rating your scale on here? Like how
I
much
usually
you enjoyed
rate.
it?
I usually want to rate them like based on the quality and mix it with like a little bit of how much I really enjoyed it.
Okay,
I'd give this
feel
like
that's fair.
a 7.5.
Okay.
Like quality wise, it's probably a 9. I don't think I enjoyed it as much.
There's a train going by.
Yeah, there's a train going by.
There's a train going by,
It
and
goes that way.
it's taking Nico's 7.5 with it,
Yeah,
because that is nonsense. This movie.
I know.
This movie is a 10 out of 10. This movie is a 10 out of 10.
This is the first 10 out of 10.
This is the first 10 out of 10 that I'm going to give.
This is the first 10 out of 10.
This is probably one of the only 10 out of 10s that I will give.
Wow. None of the listeners know that Nick is reviewing this, and this episode won't come out for like a couple months.
Maybe. We could release it in,
We could release
in a couple
it. We
weeks.
could release it tomorrow if we wanted to.
It's a 10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10. I love this movie. I don't think that there's any movie like this, and I don't think there will be any movie like this ever, and that's why like I have to give it a 10 out of 10, because I don't think anyone can recreate this or anything
But you
like
saw Amy Schumer's Trainwreck, right?
it. I have not seen that movie. I need to see that. Maybe my mind will change. This is a great movie. I love it, like, just so much. I probably love it more than I should. And this is probably like people are gonna be like, "Oh yeah, film snob. You know, you like the slow burn shit."
Screw the
Sure.
cinephiles. This movie sucked. I'm just kidding. This movie wasn't bad. It was good. It's just weird if you're casual for a film like this.
I think if you're a casual person, and you have access to drugs, like weed or any psychedelics, this movie would be good to watch when you're
This film was a
when you're
trip.
on those.
This
It is,
really
it is
was
a
a
trip. It really is. Like that was my first impression of the movie. I probably didn't think it was a 10 out of 10 right away. Like on my first viewing, I think it probably was my second or third one where I was like, wow, this movie really makes me think. But
I don't think it made me think that much. I was just like, oh, I know who the antagonist is. It's like,
yeah,
it's
but
like
I don't
that one
think
movie.
I don't think it's about that. Like I don't think it's a
No.
movie about that. Let's get into that
we'll,
now.
We'll
This
talk
is
about the
spoilers.
thinking stuff. Yeah,
This is spoilers. We're 20 minutes in. This is spoilers.
Okay. It's an old film. It's not really spoiling it anymore.
It's not really spoiling anything, but I feel like it is best enjoyed if you know nothing going in. That's what I think.
Sure.
Like if you would have known
Fair.
anything about the plot, it probably would have been.
I tried not to,
Yeah.
but the first 10 minutes of this movie, I hated it. We actually just like watched dudes in gorilla costumes jump around.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny.
You
but
could obviously tell that they were men in costumes too. Their legs were too long anatomically.
yeah, it is a little long, little drawn out the opening sequence, but
it was interesting.
it's pretty epic. Like it is visually pretty cool too. Like just like the rest of it, you know.
It just looked like Breaking Bad and some gorillas for some reason with a
No,
jaguar.
this looks like beautiful Breaking Bad. Like this looks like Breaking Bad if it was like an untouched desert.
You're right. I've
and
been
there
to Albuquerque. That shit is a hellhole.
Yeah. Anyways, this is spoilers now. We're getting
We've
into
been
spoilers.
in spoilers.
That's not the I feel like most people know about the gorillas. I'm honestly surprised you didn't know about the gorillas. I'm glad you didn't.
I
but-
searched up images and I was like, why is there a gorilla here?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm surprised you didn't know about the gorillas because I've had like.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
let me mention that for a second. The biome, there are no gorillas that live in deserts. There are no random jaguars that live in deserts, and I don't remember what the other animal was, but they don't all live together cohesively
It was
in,
like
in
hog.
a desert. Was it just that? I thought there was one more. Whatever it was, they don't all coexist in a desert.
But this
looks like
wasn't.
red
This was not
canyons.
present times, so you don't know.
Whatever. I hate it. It didn't make any sense that first 10 minutes.
I think a lot of this movie doesn't make any sense, and I think that's part of the beauty of it. But anyway, the plot summary is there's
These
a monolith.
random iPhones just be spawning
They
all
they
over
don't
the
look
place.
like iPhones. I don't
Yeah.
know. I guess they kind of do. They're just black rectangles, monoliths, and one's in the desert at the beginning, and then okay, I guess whatever. One's in the desert at the beginning. One shows up in. Well, see that just shows them the lasting power of this movie. Nico pulled for anyone
pulled
listening.
out
We don't have a
my-
camera now. Nico
my
pulled out his
iPhone-
iPhone to show it to me.
My iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Yeah,
The
it does.
space
It does look
gray.
like a
If you want to
monolith.
look at it, I pulled it out. They look the same.
Why do you think they designed it that way?
Steve Jobs paid for this movie as a marketing scheme.
I mean,
Huh?
was he alive?
Yeah, he was alive.
I guess he's whatever. There's these monoliths. They're strange. They have some strange power about them. Then there's one that is found on the moon, and they're keeping it a secret. And some strange stuff happens with that monolith too. And then fast forward to a mission, a space travel mission for men going to Jupiter, and there is a AI robot aboard controlling all of the ship's functions.
Like Wall-E,
Yeah.
if you've seen Wall-E.
Yeah, I mean, Wall-E
But
definitely
Wall-E-
took
Wall-E-
inspiration from this.
No. This went back in time just so it
That's
could
right.
be the original.
That's right.
It stole it from Wall-E.
But anyway, Hal is the artificial intelligence. If we're going to do spoil, let's talk about Hal. Hal is creepy as hell. Like, Hal scares me. Hal makes me afraid of artificial intelligence, to be honest. Like, Hal is one of the scariest, like, villain antagonist type characters in any movie for me.
Okay, sorry. I searched up the Wall-E antagonist. I thought it was also like Al or something. It's just Otto. Never mind.
Oh, okay.
Never mind. I'm sorry.
But what did you think? What did you think of Hal?
I liked it. It wasn't 100% predictable, but after seeing something like Wall-E, which obviously draws heavily from this film, I was like, oh, okay, I see what's happening.
Yeah, I mean,
But-
I think
If I didn't see Wall-E and I saw this for the first time, I'd probably be like, oh my god, that's really cool, or like that's an interesting concept, and then I'd be like, oh my god, robots.
yeah, it's a murderous artificial intelligence, which I think probably at the time was much more unique of an idea because computers were not advanced. But I don't know. Hal is still creepy to me. Like,
Hal
and
is
I think
cool.
the turning point when Hal decides to start trying to pick off the crew members is creepy to me. And when there's 3 crew members in hibernation and he just flatlines them like nothing. Like, that's a little
But when he killed Frank,
yeah.
which we don't see it happen on screen, but then you just see Frank
It is just a
flail
bunch
around.
it is just a bunch of quick shots of. There you go. There's your like millisecond shots of Hal.
Was that the fastest editing in the whole film?
Aside from the final like craziness, yes.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
But yeah, it murders the crew members after a little while, and there's some famous lines in there, some big famous shots that you've probably seen. Like that's probably your exposure to this movie if you haven't seen it.
Do you think if Hal was made today that he would be racist?
Probably. Yeah.
Can AI be racist?
I think AI can be a lot of things. I'm a little worried about it, to be honest. I share Elon Musk's concern about the future of AI.
Interesting. But like, do we think that it can be?
Yes. The official stance of this podcast is that AI is racist.
We're now a conspiracy podcast.
I don't think it's conspiracy to be a skeptic of AI.
Have you seen iRobot?
No.
It was Will Smith.
I haven't seen it.
That was one of the first Will Smith movies
There's
I've
another
ever
reason not to trust. Will Smith was in a movie about AI.
Well, Will Smith was part cyborg or something.
Yeah, I don't trust that.
Oh, I'm sorry to spoil that for anyone.
I'm not.
It's a C-list movie, though. So,
anyways, after he, eventually there's a struggle, sort of. It's intense. It feels dire. I think that's probably when I watched it on the first time, the part that got most anxious to me. After Hal has killed all but one of the crew members, and he's like trying to get back into the ship. He's outside of the ship. He's trying to get back into the ship to disconnect Hal.
Mm-hmm.
And he does. He successfully does it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a really
creepy
good
sequence. Good plug.
Really reviews. Yeah, there's a really creepy sequence where he unplugs Hal, and I thought that was. I always love that sequence. I think that's really satisfying.
I don't remember what song he was singing. Was it called Diane?
Daisy.
Yeah. Daisy. Sorry.
I think it's actually the song that like the first song ever fully sung by a computer.
Shout out the AP Comp Sci principles teacher who taught us that. If that was him, I don't know.
But anyways, then the movie goes into a very trippy sequence with
yeah, we got to talk about that.
Dave arrives at Jupiter, and then it is just nuts from there. And like that is just like it's just a visual, like I don't know, that's insane. Like for me, that like I love that part of the movie too. Like that is art to me. But I don't know, what do you think?
Okay, so tell me what you thought it was. What you thought that was supposed to be like in terms of message wise.
So I think this is generally from what I've read, I think this is probably like the most widely accepted explanation of the ending is like Dave, the final crew member, is like taken into some space that is like a zoo type thing for humans. So like he arrives at Jupiter, and then he's in the control of whatever this other life form is that's at Jupiter, and they put him in a cage essentially.
The other iPhones.
Yeah. The people who created the monoliths, or the monoliths themselves or whatever, they put him in a cage. He's living out his life and you just see him living out his life as a human, and then dying.
I like those transitions between his stages where he like sees himself a few kind of decades in the future. Well, not a couple decades in the future, and then it goes to the next couple decades.
It's just a rapid aging thing, just to show his existence within, I think just to signify time passing.
Yeah.
In a really trippy way, which is, I think, really cool. And then he's sort of reborn, maybe, or something. There's like a baby.
The weird fetus.
Yeah, fetus baby. And I'm sure
was.
That's another image that a lot of people have seen because that's super famous. Or I think it's on some of the posters even.
I just Googled posters and I saw it recently.
Yeah, so that's like sort of the final shot is like the baby in like a little egg. It's
in the a womb.
It's a
It's
It's
just
in
in
a clear
very
womb.
transparent womb.
And then it sort of lines up next to
It's a cosmic baby, cosmic fetus.
Cosmic fetus, and then the movie ends. I don't know what that part means, and I have my own understanding of what that means, but I don't know. I think the pleasure in it is not knowing what that means. I think that's the pleasure. Like what the hell does this mean? What is life?
It's Vin Diesel.
It's Vin Diesel. He's in
It's
the
cosmic
he's in the
fetus,
womb.
Vin Diesel.
But yeah, anyway, if you can't tell, I love this movie. I'm raving about it too much, probably. As a more casual viewer, what did you think of the ending?
After having played around with Photoshop and After Effects, now I know the CGI wasn't, and all the effects weren't great
It wasn't CGI
from a technical
though.
standpoint. No, they literally just threw some colored filters and cranked up the saturation for these weird like drone shots where they were shooting above canyons and things.
They're probably helicopter.
But yeah,
time.
helicopter.
But
at the time.
for the time, like nothing was like that. I think that
No, and I didn't understand what that played into at all.
But even before that, when he's sort of going through the tunnel, like that's very.
the tunnel was
very,
cool.
Yeah,
I think they had like screen and they they poked out little holes all around the side and they'd keep running these like treadmills essentially.
Yeah, and they
just shine different colored lights. Those were cool.
Very creative. Yeah.
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 But like
also Stanley Kubrick did not have Photoshop.
no.
Work with
I know.
here,
I'm just
okay?
saying like after seeing like how it's I don't want to say easy, but like you can literally just change the color of two things and that's it. I was not sure what that whole sequence was supposed to be, what it was supposed to show, what it was supposed to.
I think it was when we watched the movie. You said to me, "Oh, I think this like him, the way he's interpreting the world," and I think that's
Like
what
I thought,
because
broke his brain, right?
That's after the big treadmill sequence. Treadmill is what you call it.
Yeah.
Sequence where that stuff is incomprehensible. There's a lot of weird colors and stuff, and intermixed shots of weird colors.
I figured
and stuff.
just
that
whatever.
stuff is just barf, right? Like to his eyes, that's barf. He does not understand what that means. But then he comes and emerges into a like place that is the like more Earth resembling place
with the bright colors.
the bright. I think that's all I got from that. It's like he's emerging into a place that he is now starting to understand what this world looks like.
Okay.
But it does also at the same time look like a foreign place. That's what I got from that.
Oh, okay.
But
I was just like, it just whatever he's gone through and being in space, everything just broke his brain, and now he's just tripping acid without acid.
Yeah, that's generally what I think too. But
Okay.
today, you could create like a few of those canyon shots just with a drone in Photoshop.
Yeah, that's why I was
Premiere.
just like curious. I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I just think it is. I honestly think your interpretation when we were watching it today is this the way he's interpreting the world? And I think that sort of is what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a trip.
He's just tasting colors.
Basically, it's a trip. I mean, that's why I think it, and I think I read an interview or heard an interview.
I've read a bunch of promo and random like posters that say the ultimate trip.
Yeah, and it
So,
is.
I don't know if that was
the
an
poster I
official-
have is the ultimate. It says the ultimate trip on it. I think
Is that like an official tagline?
probably,
Or is that just
probably
some-
it was in some of the marketing. I don't know.
Okay.
But I was gonna say I saw an interview with Steven Spielberg, and he was
Steven
talking.
Spielberg.
Yes, he was talking about when he saw the movie. When he was young or whatever, and he said a bunch of his friends went to the theater high or whatever. Like, I genuinely, for people who want to indulge in that, this is a great movie to watch. Like, I think your mind will be blown even more than it was for me and Nico today, and for me the first time I saw it especially.
What if somebody who's high, they just get a bad trip because of how anxiety inducing this movie is?
Then they should tweet at Reely Reviews.
It's
At Reely
at
Movie
reviews at reviews really on Twitter because the other one was taken.
Yeah, they should tweet at me and tell me how I'm responsible for giving them a bad trip.
Hey, but they'll have fun with the color sequence at the end.
They will. This movie is a trip. It's mind blowing for me every time I watch it.
I wouldn't say mind blowing.
I would recommend this to anybody. I think you have to be in a certain headspace, or it's
just the cinephiles like Nick here who just like to say, oh my god, this movie's so good.
It's unlike anything else. So like, if you want a comfort movie, it's not that. That's what I'll say.
Have you seen Care Bears?
I have not seen Care Bears.
They all hug and they hold hands in a circle, and then their tummies all light up, and then the power of happiness and kindness shines through.
Yeah, this is not a
It's
Care
better
Bears.
than this. I promise you.
It's a good movie. I promise.
Have you seen the Lego movie? No, this is a good movie.
It's a good movie. And I think it's definitely one that'll make you think.
It's at least worth one watch.
Yeah.
At least.
And hey, who knows? Maybe if we do this podcast for long enough, you'll decide to watch the movie again, and maybe your mind will change.
We could do like a recap.
We could.
And go back to some movies.
We could.
We'll figure that out.
Anyways, that's our review. We've been going for a long time, but I think this movie deserves all the time in the world. Give it your time. Go watch it.
Just end it.
All right, fine.
Give it your time. Marry this movie.
Marry this movie. I love it. Thank you guys for listening to my rambles, and we'll see you for our next podcast.